Welcome to Galactic Guidance, the show that channels the wisdom of beings from higher realms. Join us as we tap into the cosmic consciousness and receive messages of clear guidance to help us navigate our spiritual evolution on planet Earth. So sit back, relax, and let's connect into the higher frequency. How are you going, Marcus? Last time we spoke, you said that you are probably spending more time channeling Ameed during your personal time. How's that going?
Good. Yeah, everything's going really well. Just continuing to get more and more comfortable, with the whole idea. Because as you know, I was pretty terrified of doing this sort of live, even though I've been doing it for a very long time, and I have done it live, in the past, or not live but recorded and sent out to the world. But now it's it's a time to really get it out into the world, and so that's what we're doing, which is exciting.
Yeah. Awesome. So what do you do? Like if you have a dilemma or a question, do you just check in?
Well, two things generally. Either I ask, what do I need to know today? Or what does everyone need to know today? And then topics will come and conversations will happen. I can also tune in regards to the program I run, just what's the next module or what's the next thing that needs to be taught. Or if I need specific help, then I'll ask, okay, what do I do in this situation?
Do you feel incredibly blessed that you've got this opportunity to get mentorship from a high dimensional being?
Well, it's kind of weird because I never thought of it that way. I'd always used it for sort of specific stuff, either building the course or having things to go and tell everybody about. And then I channeled a whole lot of stuff a while back, and I was reading it out to Stephanie, my wife, and she said, you don't have to share this with everyone. This could just be for you. And you can use it just for you if you want. And I went, I hadn't even thought of that. I can actually use it for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I do from time to time.
Awesome. I use that word because Ameed's the one who used it. Right. Who said she was your mentor.
Yes, true.
So how fascinating. Before you go down deep and connect with Ameed, do you know where Ameed is located in the galaxy?
Yeah, absolutely. She's from the Lyra system.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lyra system is one of the first systems that expanded when the universe did what the universe did. And she exists in the Lyra system. And from what she tells me, it's a binary star system. And there's a number of sort of planets that are around there. Vega is one of the planets that is quite connected to Earth, and information that comes through. There are Vega machines. There's movies made about the Vega star sort of system, which is part of the Lyra system. And so it's all sort of comes from that end of town, galactic end of town.
What dimension is that?
The stars themselves are not any dimension. They're transdimensional. It's the beings, the consciousness within the space that that has the dimension, and it's a much more expanded dimension than here. It's I don't like to use higher or lower, and Ameed's really particular about that, not higher or lower, because it gets caught in our sort of 4-dimensional brain that sort of traps us in this sort of realm. And we've got to start thinking spherical, is what she keeps telling me, rather than linear.
Last time.
Yeah, right. So it's hard to, it's hard to give it a number and say that's the 9th dimension or the 20th or the 500th or whatever, because that's quite linear. It's an expanded version of what we experience, and therefore they have access to other abilities, the ability to manifest like that. They don't even talk about manifestation because things just appear when they need to appear, and they want to appear. They're more in flow than we are. They've got a different relationship to time and space, and they just hold a deeper level of wisdom, is probably how we would experience it. Just a deeper level of wisdom, because they've transitioned past a lot of the things that we're experiencing right now. Those experiences of fighting each other and, this is all mine and not yours, you can't have it. And it's, do you know what I mean? There's just bizarre concepts of, just mine. It's not mine, it's ours.
These bizarre concepts of war.
Well, that one especially, that a really bizarre concept, that you know, and they have a very strong relationship with that whole concept that we're all one. You know, and we're one particle of the whole big thing, and they have a very intimate relationship with how that unfolds and how that works.
Yeah. So she's a
So,
physical being, right?
yeah, totally,
And
totally.
can you describe her to us
Hmm.
in terms of the way she looks?
She would be about 10 feet tall, 9 feet tall, something like that. Uh, Fairly long and skinny arms.
Huh?
I imagine her in a sort of white cape almost, not cape, but like robe type of thing.
Yeah.
And when she walks, it's not like she's walking. It's like she's floating. Like she got legs and arms and stuff, but yeah, so it's like she floats.
Do you know what her particular work is, like what her job is over there?
God's again one of those constructs that we
Yeah.
don't understand, but she has a role in doing what she's doing, mentoring and supporting other life forms to transition. And really, a lot of the work they all do is in that sphere, is in the expansion of consciousness and assisting the frequency and vibration of the universe and holding the energetic quality of the universe. So they play sort of big roles in that because they've transitioned past having to farm and you know make food and all that sort of stuff is sort of they've transitioned past that. They don't have that issue or worry or concern. And yeah, it's sort of it's kind of interesting because we're on a not a similar sort of trajectory, but we're doing it with AI a bit. But there's always talk that one day none of us will have a job and AI will do all the jobs and we'll have time to spend. Now, when you
Mm.
sit there and think about, wow, what would we do, right? If we had a higher, expanded level of consciousness, what we would do is work on consciousness.
Mm.
We would work on love, we'd work on harmony, we'd work on connecting with the universe, we'd work on some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Love.
We wouldn't do what we think we might do, which is, oh, I'm just going to go and play, I don't know, Xbox 24 hours a day, and because I don't
Yeah,
have to work, yay! That's
yeah.
not necessarily how we would do it. That's so they have that time, whatever that is, to do that higher conscious work. And there's a couple of star systems that play a role in this and help maintain our sector of the universe. And there's 12 sectors of this universe, universe. And there are a number of planetary systems that help maintain that and are responsible for that. So that's a collective effort, not just, yeah. So while we're so busy on the minute little, from a galactic point of view, day-to-day survival, they've way transitioned past
Mm.
survival. That's just doesn't exist. Yeah, there's no consideration.
All right. Well, let's bring
So there
her
you
in.
go. Well, yeah, why not? Let's play that game, shall
Mm.
we? And we were chatting just before, and so there's some interesting stuff I think that she wanted to share today. So
Okay.
let's just see where that goes. So.
Sure.
And as much of the welcomeness that we be here in this space with you, this dimension, in this moment of experience. For much is the collective experience of the connected universal realms that we are much connected in this space and this time. We wish much to assist you in the understanding of the expansionness into the spherical nature of existence in this of the universe, this much of the one universe, one verse that we often are speaking speaking much about. We are much joyfulness for being in this moment, in the presence of the energetic quality of who you would be being with in this moment. We want to share with you the concept of the DNA that you have much connection with, the DNA concept that much of the science is working with in this moment. And much of this, the DNA concept is connected into what you have referred to as the junkness of your DNA. There's not such a thing. There's no such junkness within the DNA construct. You must understand that every particle in the DNA construct is as much of the importance. As you expand in the spherical nature of evolution, you will much become more aware and awakened into this DNA structure. One of the issues that we as connect in with your construct of the expansionness of the of your evolution is the compressing of the DNA. What we see very much often is that when you get into a state of shrunken focus, when you get into the concentrated focus on particular issues or problems or situations that are of the much smallness nature, you compress the DNA strands, you compress your DNA. This compression then activates much of the memories that ones you wish to transition through and transition past. There is a construct that when you become in the relaxedness, when you release, when you breathe and let much of the memories, much of the what you call the stressness in the brain released, you can start to expand much of the DNA. When the DNA is expanded, you are able to connect in deeper with the universal construct. You have to remember then the oneness that we speak of. And you don't have much of the old memory issues and what you would call the extra stresses, the trauma of the stress within your physical form, within the experience of the energetic pattern of who you are. One of the things we wish you to understand is in the extension of the DNA, you begin to activate many other of the strands. Right now in this duality existence that you find yourself in, you have seen that there is but the two strands of the DNA experience. We're here to inform you, to let you know that there's much more of the strands, and that some of the existence of the people here now have been able to activate the four of the strands of this DNA construct. There are many more for you to activate. Where we exist and the reason that we can have these conversations, that we can connect in, is partly due to the construct of our DNA versus the DNA that you exist in this moment. We have been able to activate much of our DNA so that there is not the experience of the junkness that you speak of. We are in the activation, the fullest of the activation of this DNA construct. You will see that the DNA that makes up, that formulates the codex for the creation and existence of your experience, you will find that as you expand past the duality concept of the DNA, that you will be able to awaken into a deeper understanding, a deeper connection, a deeper reality, much more of the higher frequency nature. It is much like you have just the 6 strings in the guitar. You can play some beautiful music, but it's only the 6 strings. When you expand your DNA, like playing on the piano, now you have many strings, and you can make even more expansive music. This is what we're inviting you to step into. So the much of the first stepness is to expand your threads of the DNA, not in the compression, but in the fullness of the compression. Is extend out the DNA construct. In this way, you will begin to get more access to other realms, other dimensional aspects of the DNA. And this is one thing that is true, that the DNA construct is multidimensional in nature. And this is something that your science has not yet connected fully with, or even understood the concept of the DNA experience. It is your portal, your gateway into the dimensional aspects of reality, this and the sacred geometry. When you learn how to master both the DNA construct and the sacred geometry, you will then be a much closer, much more expansiveness and understand more of the construct of the universe.
So, what you are suggesting that we do is activate our DNA. So, what I'm hearing you say is that at the moment, there's only a couple of strands that are active within our DNA and that we need to activate the rest. And the way that we activate the rest of our DNA is by relaxing. By what else? What else can we do to activate our DNA apart from meditation?
Much of the activation is the spending time in this void concept where you are in the meditation space. But even in the active space, you can continue to activate this extended version of the DNA strands in each of your cells. This can be done by bringing your consciousness into a more expanded state. There is a concept that one can't move without the other. So the first opportunity is to become of the greater awareness. When you sit in a greater awareness, you will feel the expansion. You will feel the DNA stretching as your mind expands out. This has a twofold response or reactivity. One is that you will be able to connect in deeper and see further. At the same time, the DNA will begin to expand. And in the same moment, that expansion will allow you to have more conscious expansion, more of the awareness state. It is the difficulty when you're in this position where you are attempting to break free from the mindscape of a connection, where the mindscape wishes to keep you contained, keep you in what you would call the control state. And this is not the reality. You must breathe and allow the expansiveness to appear. So yes, you are correct. Is the one aspect is to sit in the meditation space. The other aspect is in the breath, is to breathe in and through and then expand as you do the inner breath. Imagine the DNA just relaxing, just expanding out, just stretching like a string, like a piano string would stretch out, and just allow it to stretch out. Then as you are moving through the existence that you find yourself in, then the constant consciousness just to breathe, just to allow the depth of the breath, and then allow the stretching, allow the expansiveness. This is what is happening to you on a much bigger scale than you can have the imagination of. Your journey in this moment is the expansion, is to fulfill into yourself. There is expansion from the thought process. There's the expansion from the heart process. There's expansion from the Dantian process. And there's the expansion from both the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual aspects, but very much in the physical is the expansion of the DNA. This will allow you to connect in deeper with the expansiveness of the universe.
Mm-hmm. So, what I heard you say is that apart from the meditation, when we are in the conscious state, as we're breathing in, we can imagine the expansion of the DNA. And you also mentioned sacred geometry. And so, what is the best way to learn about sacred geometry for those of us who have very limited information? Do we just Google the information and then just start practicing drawing? What do we actually do with the sacred geometry? How could we learn more about it?
There's much that you can do with this concept, and one that you would be best to have the engagement with, because it is this geometry, this sacred geometry, that is the energetic connection from the physical realm, the particle realm, into the universal realm of the wave function. The sacred geometry is the connection point between the two, and the DNA interact with this sacred geometry. There is a very much intimate and sacred relationship that the geometry and the DNA has in the journey of all of our expansion into this universe. So it is much of the importance that you begin to interact with, begin to have the relationship with, and much is the best opportunity for this is in the drawing of this concept. One of the most important geometries that we left here with you, for you, and behind when once we were here is the flower of life concept, the flower of life drawing. Within the flower of life is every geometry that that is required. Therefore, the exercise we would invite you to participate in is the drawing of the flower of life image. There is a much of a meditative process when you draw this image, and we would invite you to draw this many times, because this will help to open up portals and the gateway into this more expansive reality of existence. This is something that must be experienced, and we would invite you to have this of the drawingness of the flower of life image, because as we mentioned that every geometry is located in this image. It is the most important image we could have left behind, and much of the access, much of the information that is stored in this image has remained much of the secrets, because until your consciousness reaches certain expansiveness, many of the information in this sacred drawing is much of the hiddenness. This was to make sure that you were in the safeness, that your consciousness was ready to much receive this information. And in this moment, we know this is much of the truth, and this is time for you to experience this, to travel into the center of this image, this flower of life image. This holds much of the secrets that you are looking for, that you much are searching for in this moment.
Thank you so much. So what I'm hearing is that what we need to do is draw the flower of life and just allow ourselves to just be drawn into the flower of life. So sit down with a piece of paper, with a pencil, with a pen, draw the flower of life. And then the other thing we need to do is, as we're breathing in, we consciously expand our DNA just by intending it. Have I got that right in terms of the two things that we need to do?
This is much of the assistance. This will much help you in the expansiveness. When you are with the drawing of this flower of life image, we would ask that you do much of the slowness. Just very much take your time. You will understand why this is important when you begin the process. Much of the rushingness collapses the flower of life image, and so it does not appear like it does not appear as itself. We would request that as you draw this, you breathe in through, you expand the DNA construct, and you allow the drawing, allow the geometry to share the magicness, the wisdom, the deep understanding. You will awaken parts of you that you have not connected with, not understood before. This will begin to assist in the very much expansiveness of the consciousness state, the information state, the knowledge and wisdom state. For within this sacred image is much of the information of the universe, all contained in this one particle of information. When you begin the drawing, you will understand what we are sharing here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in, Ameed, and I'm definitely going to be doing those things that you've suggested. So thank you so much.
It is much with the pleasure that we come here, and much with the gratitude that you are being in this place, to be of the receptive nature, to be in the expansive state of awakening and activating the deeper part of who you are. You must remember that all of this information is stored within you. There is nothing that you don't already know or understand. This is a process of activation. It's a process of the remembering. This is a grand time of this construct of the remembering and the activation. The awakening has already appeared and has already been happening. Now is the time for the activation, for you to begin to expand more into yourself, into the grander, more cosmic, galactic version of yourself. And within this, we are here to invite you back to the universal of family of the light. This is what we come here. This is the gift we wish to provide to you, because it's time for you to come home into this knowledge, into this wisdom. This is the moment. This is the time. We are much happiness, much joy, much love for each and every one in this journey. We understand that this theme park has been much of the difficult nature, but this is part of the expansive growth. This is what you would say is taking one for the team. This concept you have, that you chose to be here to help in this expansive nature. We are back here to help you to remember, to help you to reactivate the truth of exactly who you are. Within this, the light is bright. The light is shining. It's like turning on a beacon. When you are activated, your beacon is shining. This is when much of the connection can reappear and the remembering can unfold. This is where you begin to activate every aspect of you, including the DNA construct we discussed. We are much of the joy and the gratitude.
Thank you.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
Oh, good.
That's good.
A little bit teary today. I don't know why.
Okay.
Whenever it's the bigger it is, the more I feel like that. So I think it's just releasing.
Yeah.
Just releasing. It's all good.
It's all perfect. It's all perfect.
Yeah. So how did we go today?
Good. She's given us 2 tasks.
Okay. Good on her. That's good.
2 things we need to do. The first one is we need to activate our DNA. My understanding from what she said is that as we breathe in, like apart from the obvious, which is the meditation state, even when we're not meditating, when we're just breathing, just as we're breathing in, to intentionally expand our DNA. So just basically
Nice.
say that, like we don't even think about things like that. So
No.
because we're
Yeah,
only
that feels
using
good.
a very limited part of what's available to us.
Tiny. Yeah.
So what do you think will happen once we've got other DNA strands activated, Marcus?
Well, I just think we start having greater awareness of what's really going on. Right now, like a radio station, we're tuned to one radio station, the two-dimensional version or whatever. And I think as you connect in more of these things, you all of a sudden hear more radio stations, because there's a million playing all at the same time, like on a radio, right? There's so many different channels. And we're not here necessarily to listen to one channel at a time. I think we're here to listen to multiple channels all at the same time, and that creates this beautiful frequency and vibration. And then all of a sudden we get to see more of what's really out there.
Yeah. Are you sort of saying with that, in terms of hooking into more radio stations, that as an example, somebody, when we're connecting with somebody and they've just been thinking about us, so we're hooked into the fact that
Totally.
or we can sort of mind read when someone is thinking something. I know that my ability to do that is like expanded out of this world.
Oh, totally. I think that's part of it, but I think it's actually even seeing things, actually seeing interdimensionally, actually seeing, one of the things she's often talked about is that they're coming back again, right? They're going to come back. They were here in ancient Egyptian times. They've been here before that, and that they're coming back. And until we're at a consciousness, it's not safe for them. They have to drop their frequency quite low to appear in a physical form here, right? And that's really dangerous, because as they drop their frequency, they become more solid. Therefore, they can be killed or can be captured, and stuff like that can happen. But if our consciousness raises, then they don't have to drop as much, and we can meet like halfway. I mean, we're not going to meet halfway because we're not there yet, but do you know what I mean? We meet halfway where they may not appear absolutely solid like a human being, but they'll appear like, yeah, we'll be able to see the translucent nature of the beings.
Can't wait. That sounds exciting.
Yeah. And
Sounds
as we
exciting.
expand more, they will become more solid. So as we expand into the next, right, they become
Yeah.
more solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, I think, that's just one of the cool little opportunities, apart from having more deeper wisdom and knowledge. And actually saying, one of the big things that she's talked a lot about is truth, this concept of truth. And as we expand, we step more into truth, right? Because there's theoretically a universal truth of what's really, how it really is and what's really happening. And we're so far from it, it's not funny. And so as we expand, we step more into that truth, and I think we have concepts of the truth,
Mm.
like, that, obviously love is the most powerful energy in the universe, but what that really means, we don't really know what that means. We have an earthly concept of it. I love you, you love me, I love my car, I love, I love these things. But I think as you expand, you start to feel into more of that. What does that
Mm.
really mean? And then it doesn't get tarnished by all the BS that often these things have been tarnished by. That whole love thing is really tarnished on the planet, you
Mm.
know? And as you expand more into the fullness of this, you expand more into the truth of, well, what does that mean? What does
Mm.
the I love you words actually mean? Or what does love mean? And I don't think we just expand more into that. And then things that we do that maybe you and I and maybe other people think are just silly and stupid, hurting each other, killing things, blah, 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 then become absurd.
Yeah.
Like then become, hang on, then you go into a concept where you don't even get that. So you move past the dimension into a new realm of dimension where those things, you just can't fathom it.
No.
And Ameed, they've been through the journey, but other planetary systems and other channel beings, they sit there and they go, we find it difficult to understand the concepts that you're dealing with because they've moved past, like they're not even in their realm anymore. Like they're not even in the consciousness. The fact that people can war and fight and hurt each other is not even in their consciousness.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any logical sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't even to us.
No,
Even
but
to us, it's like unbelievable that this is still happening. But the other thing
yeah,
that Ameed talked about was sacred geometry
sacred geometry.
and the
I
flower of
can hold up
life.
behind me. Yeah, flower of life on both sides.
I went through like a few weeks where I was drawing it for a while, and then I sort of
Yeah.
stopped because I thought, oh, well, nothing's happening. So how long are we? Is our ego mind prepared to be doing this before we go? Yeah, actually, there's a portal opening.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I think the way to do it is slowly, really slowly. And then once you've finished it, do it again. And once you've finished it, do it again. And once you've finished it, do it again. Every time I've found I've done it, I don't know, it just opens something else up. And it might not, again, our ego mind or our earthly mind expects the minute we finish it that I don't know, some magic will happen. And it's like, oh, nothing much happened. I drew something. It was
Yeah.
fun, I suppose. But what you don't notice is the effect that it is having on you, which is that it's in a deeper part of you. And so then what happens is one day you're talking like this and you say something profound and you go, I don't know where that came
Oh,
from. Wow.
okay.
Do you know what I mean? That's the
Mm.
experience you have, not the instant experience. Because again, our two-dimensional world wants instant gratification, instant experience. So I draw it, I should have an awakening moment and go, oh my God, it's all happening. But that's not how it works.
Yeah,
It
like
opens
anything,
a,
right? Like
yeah,
anything that we do.
it's not how it
Okay.
works. It
So,
opens a deeper part of us. And the more we're with it, and I have them beside me and I have them on the table, and I've got sacred flower of life everywhere. I wear a pendant of flower of life.
mhm.
I have it everywhere because A, it's a reminder, but B, is it does activate stuff. And so often now when I teach and stuff, I say things and I go, I don't know where that came from. Was it channeled? Was it just a part of me that woke up?
So do
And
you draw it anymore, or you don't draw it anymore, or?
sometimes I draw, and I still do from time to time. And I'm often drawing it when I'm teaching because I'm talking to people about geometry, so I have to draw it out to show how it unfolds in the creation cycle. And so there's quite a bit in the teaching that has me drawing it anyway. So I am drawing it often.
Okay.
And every time I draw it, I find something else out. I realize something else about it. And it's kind of fascinating to watch how things just keep opening up. But again, it's not this instant gratification opening up. It's just this. gentle awareness, that I might just be wandering, and then I'll go, oh wow, that concept and that thing, wow, that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's how it
Okay.
appears. So
Well, that's something that we can all do. Those two things are very simple that we
yeah,
can all do, which is one is as we're breathing and we intentionally say out aloud or inside of ourselves, let's expand our DNA and activate our
yeah,
DNA,
just stretch it out. It's like
stretch it
stretching it
out,
out,
stretch
it's
it
just
out,
like,
and
just
imagine
imagine it just relaxing
stretching
and stretching
out.
out. Because yeah, the DNA does shrink when we're stressed and when we're, and that compresses memories, because a lot of memories are held in DNA. And so as we stretch it out, it just relaxes everything, and it just allows us to tap into wisdom and all sorts of stuff.
I love it. And then the second thing is, let's do some drawing. Let's do some
Yeah,
with childlike curiosity, really
totally.
slowly, really
That's the
slowly.
important thing. That's a great thing to say. Childlike curiosity is the key with it. And often when I draw it, I do one circle and then I stop and just look at the circle, even at the very first circle, right? Because it's easy to miss the first circle because it's like, oh, I've got to get the drawing done. And often our head will go, I've got to get the picture done. But you draw one circle and you just stop and look at the circle and go, well, that's interesting. What is that? And I just be with it. And then draw the second one and go, wow, what's appeared in this second drawing? And so much appears in the second, we call it the second rotation. So each circle is a rotation. And the way I draw it is I go up from the center circle and then I go left to right, so anti-clockwise as opposed to clockwise. Anti-clockwise is a really good way to go with the flower of life for some reason. And yeah, the first circle, second circle, stop on the second circle and go, what can I see within this image, or what am I sensing as I go to the second circle? Then the third circle and go, okay, what now unfolds in the third rotation?
Awesome.
And just, yeah, and just
Awesome.
slowly go around. There are lots of people, showing how to draw the flower of life. And I always think it's hilarious because those that draw really fast muck it up. Like it's really easy to not have it be precise and be a bit skewed, and it's not, it's really,
Do you use a
don't,
glass to do it?
yeah, generally a glass or a compass. You know the little
Yeah.
compasses you got at school?
Yeah.
Compass is the best way to do it. Don't do it on computer. It has to be hand drawn.
Okay.
Computer's a really bad way to do it, because you just don't get the same energetic quality as if you draw it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've got a 2-hour plane flight on Friday, so I'm gonna
Perfect.
perfect time to draw.
Totally perfect time where you're just sitting and you can just be. It's best not to rush it. Don't do it in a 15-minute slot between stuff. Don't do. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon. I'm just going to sit on the ground. Good to sit on the ground or just sit and just go. I'm just going to spend whatever amount of time it takes. If it takes me half an hour to do it, great. If it takes me 2 hours to do it, that's fine too.
Thank you,
Okay.
Marcus.
Oh, thank you, Eleni, and thank you everybody for listening and tuning in. And yeah,
A couple of
hope it
wonderful
helps.
tips there in terms of expanding our awareness and
Yeah,
activating our DNA
yeah,
and increasing our vibration, which
totally.
really are not going to take too much time to do. So that's all for today's episode of Galactic Guidance. Thanks for tuning
Yay.
in. We hope you
Thanks.
enjoyed it. If you did, please
Yes.
subscribe to this channel, leave us a comment, share it with your friends. And until next time, this is
See you
Marcus
soon.
and Eleni. Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.